Hey guys, this week for Weapons Wednesday, we're testing out these Chinese hook swords as well as some of the other new weapons we just added to the KarateMart.com website. But before we begin, if you just like this video and subscribe to our channel, that would be awesome. So last week, I tested out some of the newest weapons we recently added to the KarateMart.com website. And then I asked you to go to the community tab and vote for which one you liked best. And you guys went to the community tab and voted for the hand-forged saber sword. Excellent choice, guys. This was actually my favorite choice as well, so good job. Now this week we still have a whole bunch of new weapons that we recently got into our warehouse, so I asked Amanda to go back to the warehouse and grab some of our newest items for me to review. So at the end of this video, make sure you guys go to the community tab and vote for which weapon you like best this week. And as always, there's links in the description of the video for you to find out more information on each of these products. And one thing I want to mention is Amanda is still out this week, so I asked Melanie to come and help me out. So without further ado, Melanie, what is the very first item we have for this week? Awesome, awesome. And Melanie, why don't you come into the video just to say hi to everyone? That's Melanie. All right, and let's look at our very first item. Oh, cool, cool. This is awesome. All right, so our very first item is the military trench dagger. Awesome, awesome. Oh man, so I know what you guys are thinking. We've been showing off a lot of these military trench weapons lately. In fact, we had the military trench cleaver, and then a couple of weeks ago we had the military trench kukri. But I love these things, and you guys seem to love them too, so I'm actually excited to show you guys this one as well. So first off, you can see that it's got a very nice heavy-duty black leather sheath to it, and that is a good quality sheath. And then it's got this belt loop on the side so we can hang it from the side of our body if we want to. But I want to see the blade itself, so let's go ahead and open this up and check this out. Oh wow, look at that. That is nuts. So first off, we can see that we have this solid brass handle on here. And then it's got this US 1918 stamped into the handle. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, that just signifies that this is inspired by the Mark I trench knife from World War I. But let's see how comfortable this handle is. Yeah, that is actually a really comfortable handle. Let's test it out on the Wing Chun dummy just to see how comfortable this is. Oh yeah, I mean, I'm punching that pretty hard and that's not hurting my knuckles at all, but that actually brings up a really good point. This is a trench knife and there are some very strict laws when it comes to trench knives out there, so make sure you check your local laws just to make sure you're not doing anything wrong. But let's take a closer look at this blade. So the blade itself is made from a 1095 high carbon steel. And that's a fairly thin blade. But the nice thing about 1095 high carbon steel is that it's a very hard steel with good edge retention. But the thing I find most fascinating about this blade is the pattern that's been added to the blade through the chemical and heat treating process. I mean, just look at that. Those waves that have been added to the blade are just absolutely beautiful. But this is clearly a little bit different than those other trench knives I showed off. This is actually a double-edged dagger style blade, so that's going to come in handy for stabbing. And I think it's actually going to be pretty good for chopping as well. I mean, look at that. This is actually going to hold up really, really nicely if we're using this for combat. I'm super digging this weapon. I think that's pretty awesome. And then the other thing that's really neat about it too is it's got this little pommel spike at the end, so we can use that for additional strikes. I mean, look at that. I just put a little hole in there. Yeah, I mean, that is awesome. Now, the manufacturer was unwilling to tell me about the tang of this blade, but it's pretty apparent to me that the blade goes full tang through the handle and then is threaded into this little spike on the pommel. So I think that's going to hold up for you very, very nicely, but let's just chop it a little bit more just to make sure it's going to hold up for you. I mean, yeah, no damage to that blade at all. This thing's going to hold up just beautifully. Now, the overall length of this is approximately 16 inches. The blade length is approximately 11 inches. And the total weight is approximately 1 pound, 4 ounces. So that is a really nice weight for this knife. But that's about all I have to say about this. So I'm going to go ahead and put this away. And let's move on to our next weapon. All right, Melanie, what is our very next weapon? There you go. Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. All right, let's see what this is. Ooh, that's cool. All right, and our next weapon is the Death Claw Ulu knife. Nice, nice. I love Ulu knives. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Ulu knives are actually tools that have been used by indigenous people in Alaska and northern Canada for thousands of years. They've been used for food preparation, they've been used for slicing blocks of ice, they've been used for cleaning animals, but they also make an excellent weapon. So let's just look at this one. Oh, wow. Okay, so this one is definitely a more modern version of an Ulu knife. I mean, look at that. That is absolutely nuts looking. It comes with this really nice heavy-duty leather sheath, which I'm actually curious how that's going to hang off the side of your body. Okay, kind of hangs off a little bit like that, so if we're going to grab it, just kind of pull it out. And there we go, which actually begs the question, how is this knife going to be held? Are we going to be holding it like this? Yeah, that makes a little more sense to kind of hold it like that. And what's cool, it's got that little tip there. So, I mean, look at that. That's just beautiful. So we could hold it like that, but if we wanted a little more reach, we could put it upside down. So let's see how that, I mean... This is a pretty awesome little weapon. I like that. Now, the manufacturer states that the blade is made from a stainless steel, but they don't state what type of stainless steel it is. But it's a very thick stainless steel, so I think it's going to hold up for you very nicely. We can see that the blade itself is sharp. The tips are kind of sharp. I'd actually sharpen that up a little bit myself. We can tell that the blade is full tang, goes all the way through the handle, and it's got a really nice pack of wood handle on there. That's definitely that black pack of wood that just looks so beautiful. And I really like pack of wood. I think pack of wood is an awesome material because it's basically wood that's been impregnated by resin. So it gives it the ability to be a little bit stronger, and then it also allows it to be a little more weather resistant. Now, when we're looking at the dimensions of this, let's go with the length first of this. So the length is approximately 5 1/8 inches, and then the blade length is approximately 7 1/2 inches, and this weighs about 10.6 ounces. So that is a really nice weight for this, but you guys want to see me test this out. So let's just test it out a little bit. It kind of reminds me of like a push dagger or something. So let's try using it like a push dagger here. I'm going to put my foot on the bottom of the Wing Chun dummy so it doesn't fly across the room. Oh yeah, that is nice. I mean, that size of blade is not going to stick into it, but we could always kind of go from the side and stick it in that way, or stick it in that way. I mean, you could do a lot of damage with something like this. But again, the nice thing about Ulu blades is they can be used as a kitchen utensil as well. So I love that aspect of them. I mean, I think this thing is awesome, but there's not really anything else to say about it. So I'm going to go ahead and put this away, and let's move on to our next weapon. All right, Melanie, what is our next weapon?
There you go.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Ooh, what is this? And our next weapon is the Nightmare Mini Cleaver. Awesome, awesome. Oh, wow. This is interesting looking. I love the sheath. That's clearly made out of a black genuine leather, very thick and well made. And then we can see that there is a belt loop on there, so we could hook it to the side of our body if we want to. But I want to see the blade itself, so let's go ahead and check that out. Nice, nice. So that is clearly a mini version of a cleaver style blade, but then you can also see that it's got this 4-finger hole here, which turns it into a Skinner knife as well. So I like that. In fact, if that 4-finger hole wasn't there, it would be way more obvious that this was a cleaver style blade. But I really like the fact that they put that little 4-finger hole in there because that gives you more control and you can use this as a Skinner style blade. So that's pretty cool. Now, the one thing that I really, really love about Skinner knives is that you can kind of do tricks with them. But with this guy, it doesn't feel weighted right for tricks. I mean, you can kind of flip that blade a little bit. But that is not, I mean, it's just not weighted right. It's not balanced correctly for flips. So that's kind of a downside with this knife. You can still do them, but we have better knives on KarateMart.com that'll do that better for you. But the thing I love about this knife is that cleaver style blade, which has this little tip up here that is so sharp. In fact, that's going to work for stabbing. Oh yeah, that stabs just fine. And it's going to work great for chopping because it is cleaver style. I mean, look at that. That's just wonderful, especially for how small that blade is. That just chopped in just really, really nicely. But let's take a closer look at the specifics of this knife. So we can see that the blade itself is made from a stainless steel. Now the manufacturer again did not tell us what type of stainless steel this is, but based on the sheen of this, it looks like a 440 stainless steel to me. And it is a very thick stainless steel, so I think that's going to hold up for you very, very nicely. And then we can see that the blade goes full tang through the handle. And what's interesting to me is that the scales on this appear to be made out of some sort of plastic, but that's actually not plastic. That's actually black bone, which means that that's going to be a very durable handle for you. And then we can also see that there's these little grooves that have been added to the scales of the handle that give it a really nice grip. Now we can also see that there's a lanyard hole on the pommel of this knife, so we could add a wrist strap if we wanted to. And then there's these little brass pins that are holding the scales of the knife onto the blade itself. Now the overall length of this knife is approximately 7¼ inches. The blade length is approximately 3¼ inches, and the total weight is approximately 6.9 ounces. So that is an excellent weight for this knife. But that's about all I have to say about this. So I'm going to go ahead and put this away, and let's move on to our next weapon. All right, Melanie, what is our last weapon today? Ooh, a big one. Awesome, awesome. Okay, got this. Let's open this up. Ooh, I have a feeling this is going to be a good one. This is really heavy. Oh, wow. Oh, this is perfect. Look at this. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so our last weapon of the day is the Chinese hook sword. Awesome, awesome. I am so glad we are testing these out today. A few weeks ago, someone on our YouTube channel specifically asked for us to show these off, so I am super excited about these. In fact, many of you guys know these from different video games like Mortal Kombat or movies like Shang-Chi or Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, but they are a traditional Chinese weapon that are often referred to as tiger hook swords. And I don't really have much room to use them in here, but one of the things that's interesting about them is they're often used in pairs. And the reason for that is because they kind of interconnect as you're using them so that you can get more reach on them. So they're a really cool weapon when you actually get to know them. I wish I had more room to use them in here, but there are a lot of people on YouTube who can show you how to use these things. In fact, one of my buddies, Jake Mace, has a video all about basic techniques with these Chinese hook swords, so definitely check out his videos. But let's look at these ones specifically. So first off, this is made from one solid piece of 3CR13 stainless steel, which is nice in the respect that it is corrosion resistant. But to me, when I hear that these are made from 3CR13 stainless steel, I assume that they're more of a practice weapon than an actual weapon. However, they did manufacture these in a way that they are sharpened to the extent that you can tell that it's bladed here, and it's bladed on this crescent handguard, and it's also bladed up here on the hook itself. Now you can also see that there's this nylon cord wrap around the handguard, so that's going to make it very comfortable when you're practicing your hook sword techniques. And these are available in both black and silver color, so that's pretty nice to know. But I actually want to test this out a little bit. Because this is made from a 3CR13 stainless steel, I want to see if these things can hold up to much abuse. So first off, let's try testing out this little blade here. I mean, that stuck in there pretty nicely. Didn't bend. We're good on there. Let's try actually striking this little crescent spot in the handle. Yeah, held up pretty nicely. I'd actually sharpen up these tips here too, so that you could use those for your different techniques there, because some of the techniques with these hook swords is they would actually use these little crescents to slice your throat. And because there's this hook up here, that hook could actually be used for capturing another sword. It could be used for tripping your enemy. And then also because it's sharpened up there, it could be used for slicing your enemy as well. So let's just test that tip up there. Yeah, I mean, that just stuck in really nicely as well, so that's good to know too. I would probably sharpen that up though, just to make it just a little bit sharper, but this is actually something I want to test as well, because I would sharpen up that dagger, but I think it's actually still going to be a useful tool even without sharpening. Oh yeah, that actually sticks in there rather nicely, so that'll definitely be a good weapon as well. So I'm digging this. I think it's pretty darn cool. But the overall length of this thing is approximately 33¼ inches. The blade length is approximately 20½ inches. And the total weight of each sword is approximately 1 pound, 11 ounces. So that is a wonderful weight for this sword. But I'm very curious to see what you guys think. So make sure you guys go to the community tab and vote for which weapon you like best this week. And if you have any questions on any of these weapons, definitely leave them in the comments below. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel. And check out KarateMart.com because we've got all sorts of really cool weapons on there right now. But until next week, we'll see you Weapons Wednesday.